Minecraft, the blocky game that everybody knows and loves. Minecraft truly is among the greatest games of all time, and no, that's not just subjective. It's the highest selling video game of all time. To say that Minecraft is without flaw, however, is just wrong. Minecraft, much like any other game, has its fair share of problems and issues. The greatest of these issues, in my opinion, are the Enchanting and Experience systems. I thought I'd try my hand at identifying these issues and seeing what I can come up with to make Enchanting and gathering experience as a whole feel better. But before we jump into the video, I think it'd be best to separate this video into two sections. One, focusing on Enchanting, and the other, well, focusing on Experience. Some of you may think that these two systems go hand in hand, and, well, yeah, you'd be right. But I think they both have their own issues that are independent of each other, so I'm going to split them up. With that out of the way, let's start talking about Enchanting. I think the biggest issue with Enchanting in Minecraft right now is the randomness of it all. I really think the whole rolling for random enchantment system is just a relic of the past and needs to go. The only reliable way to get the enchantments you want to get is through librarian villagers, and those of you who have done this on a large scale know just how painful it is. You need to zombify a villager by getting a zombie to kill it, brew a splash weakness potion and chuck it at its face, and then force feed it a golden apple. After it shivers for a while, you then need to place and break a lectern in front of it until you get the enchantment you want. And then do all of that about 1,000,000 more times until you finally have every enchant you'd ever really need. I don't think it's a stretch to say that this system needs to change. There's a few ways we could go about doing this. You could maybe have the enchanting table show you everything you'd get from selecting that enchantment, but I don't think that's the way to go. Since there's no reliable way to reset the enchants you'd receive without just enchanting another item first, I don't think this is the best solution. Maybe instead you could just throw out the system we have now and make it so you can select specific single enchants from the table. I'd like to turn your attention to a little game you may have heard of before, Hypixel Skyblock. Okay. I know some people have a very strong opinion about this game, for better or worse, but I really think the enchanting system in this game is just incredible, so please, hear me out. Their enchanting system works more or less the same as how I just described. The randomness is completely gone, and you can select each and every enchant by hand. This system seems a bit better, and it would almost entirely remove the need to go through the nightmarish villager process, but still, I don't think the old system should be necessarily just tossed out. I don't think that randomness itself is bad, after all. I think a blend between the vanilla Minecraft enchanting system and the Hypixel Skyblock enchanting system would be perfect, and here's how I'd implement it. You'd open an enchanting table, and you'd see a menu similar to the Hypixel Skyblock enchanting menu, and see a list of all the viable enchantments you could put on whatever item it is you're trying to enchant. Instead of selecting, say, just a level of sharpness, you'd instead see three options. The first would be labeled sharpness 1 to 4, the second sharpness 3 to 5, and the third one sharpness 5. How it would work is, when you select one of the first two options, you would have a random chance of gaining any of the levels of the enchantment you selected within the range presented, with the higher numbers having slightly less of a chance of appearing than the lower ones. The first of these two options would have lower XP and Lapis cost on the second, which would cost less XP and Lapis than the third. This way, players would be able to test their luck and save some experience, or guarantee that they get the highest level enchantment for some more levels in Lapis. Enchantments like Mending or Swift Sneak would still not be in the enchanting table, so you'd still have to go out and look for those. This system also works well because it eliminates all possibility of getting an enchantment you don't want. I'm sure that almost everyone here knows the pain of getting the perfect sword, only to realize that it also has knockback on it. Yeah. For good measure, let's also include a more toned-down version of the vanilla enchanting method in the same menu, for those who still want to be able to roll for randomness. Alternatively, we can instead make this new enchanting system just a completely separate thing from the vanilla one. Maybe the way you'd obtain this upgraded crafting experience is by placing an enchanting table in the crafting grid with, say, a diamond block and 2 lapis blocks and a couple experience bottles. I don't know. I don't know how to balance crafting recipes like this, but either way, This new system would provide a new and refreshing Minecraft enchanting experience. But we aren't done with enchanting just yet. I think that if Minecraft received an enchanting update, it would probably come with some new enchantments. Keeping in the spirit of vanilla, I'd like to attempt to make a few that we could maybe see with this hypothetical update. The first enchantment that I'd really like to see in Minecraft is one that would smelt the things you mine automatically. Hypixel Skyblock also has an enchantment like this called Smelting Touch, but the way I'd like to see it implemented is a bit different from how they implemented it. First, it would be mutually exclusive with Silk Touch and Fortune, and it wouldn't work with everything that can be smelted. I think it would be best if this enchant only worked on things like ores, cobblestone, sand, and maybe logs. Second, when this enchantment activates, you lose an additional durability on your tool, kinda like how Soul Speed makes your boots lose durability when you're running on Soul Sand. Third, I think that you should only receive a portion of the experience you normally have gained from just smelting the block. I think these restrictions are balanced, since they don't just totally remove all the usage of the good old furnace and coal. Another enchantment I'd like to see added would be one that makes you able to traverse better in lava. I'm not sure exactly how, though. Maybe something simple like a Lava Strider enchantment, which would just be Depth Strider for lava. Alternatively, you could have something like Lava Walker, for lack of a more creative name, which would turn lava into netherrack or magma blocks under your feet, which would allow you to walk on top of it. Either way, I think it would be super useful to have a better way to cross the vast nether lava lakes without having to bring a saddle and fungus on a stick. Maybe the books for this enchant would be exclusive to Nether Fortress chests, and it would definitely be mutually exclusive with Depth Strider and Frostwalker. I do have a couple more ideas for more new enchantments, but in the interest of this video not being an hour long, I think it's best to just move on now. But if you guys want to maybe hear those somewhere, let me know down in the comments. But anyway, let's move on. Whew! Took a bit, but we finally improved Minecraft's enchanting system. But before we get into the next section, I'd just like to say that only a small percentage of people who view my videos are actually subscribed. So, if you like the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's free and it would really help me out. Now, let's get back to the video. A shiny new enchanting system means nothing if the game's current experience system doesn't change with it. So, let's start making some changes. I think as a mechanic, the experience system is fine. You need experience to enchant your items, and you gain less experience than normal if you already have a lot of it. All of that can stay, but I think the ways you can gain experience are a bit lackluster. You have three main options if you want to get a lot of experience quickly. You can either mine quartz in the nether, which is boring, and if you do this one too much, then you'll have to end up traveling like a million blocks to find more quartz. You can trade with cleric villagers to get experience bottles, but this has all the same issues as getting enchanted books with librarian villagers. Lastly, you can build a huge mob farm. The best farm for getting a lot of experience is either a guardian farm at an ocean monument, or an enderman farm in the end. You can also build one at the mob spawners you'll find while exploring in caves, but those just aren't nearly as good as the other two. You see, the case with the mob farm method is actually kind of the opposite as mining quartz or trading with clerics. See, these methods take a long time to actually set up, but when you're finished constructing them, it actually becomes very easy to get large quantities of experience. I don't think a mechanic can be called well-designed when you either have to struggle to slowly get all the experience you need, or build a massive and elaborate farm and just drown in it. There needs to be some sort of middle ground. This one seems a bit more tricky to me than dealing with enchanting though. Do we nerf the massive mob experience farms and anger the people who took the time and resources to build them? Do we massively buff the experience rates of everything else and make these types of farms obsolete? I think we need a system that not only rewards those who go above and beyond, like the current system we have now does, but also doesn't punish those who don't. I think I have a system that can achieve both of these things. First of all, we will be buffing the experience rates of most things in the game that aren't mobs, but only a little bit. This will make it so you can gain experience more efficiently while also not having to construct these huge farms, but you still can because you'll still be making more experience than if you don't. Second of all, I'd like to make it so that brewing potions give you a little bit of experience, around the same amount that smelting something in a furnace would. Harvesting fully grown crops should also give a very small amount of experience. These two are really small changes, but I think they go a long way, and I'm honestly surprised that they just aren't in the base game. Next, I'd like to tie gaining experience to a mechanic that is otherwise just cosmetic: advancements. I think that advancements granting experience points not only gives players more incentive to get more advancements, but also gives players the opportunity to passively gain experience, especially in the early parts of the world. The harder an advancement is to obtain, the more experience it would grant. After all, it wouldn't make sense to get the same amount of experience for making a stone pickaxe and killing the Wither. Also, I'd like to propose an idea for a new experience item, I guess you could call it. In a hypothetical Enchanting and Experience update, I'd like to have an experience jar added. Players would be able to place this jar down and right-click on it to store a maximum of 10 experience levels in the jar, which can then be taken out of the jar at any time by right-clicking on it again. Maybe I'm the only person who wants this, but I think it would be super useful for either giving some experience to your friends, or keeping it safe at your base if you're worried you might die. Finally, I think we need to talk about what very well may be the single worst mechanic in the entire game. Experience dropped on death. Everybody knows the pain of dying with a lot of levels on you, returning to the spot you died, and finding like half of a level's worth of experience lying there. You know, here's a fun fact for you. Did you know that the maximum amount of experience you can drop on death is 7 levels? 7 levels! 7! Yeah, this means that you can be strolling along with your 10,000 levels on hand, but once you fall off a cliff and have to go get your stuff back, you'll find exactly 7 levels waiting for you. This is just horrible. Yeah, I agree that you should not get all of your experience back when you die, but a hard cap of 7 levels is just criminal. I think that you should drop around 50% of your experience when you die. I think that's a fair number. Maybe they put a hard cap on it somewhere to reduce lag when players die, but like 7 levels? Come on, that's... no. Just no. So, with that, I think I'm finished with my ideas for how to improve Minecraft's enchanting and experience systems. I think that these proposed changes would help to make these systems feel more refreshing and new, and would be an overall healthy change to the game. I hope you feel the same way. If you like this video, please make sure to leave a like, and maybe even subscribe. It would really help me out and let me know that you guys want to see more videos like this one. I really stepped out of my comfort zone in making this video. I've never really done any type of scripted content before, so leave a comment and let me know if you liked it. Well, anyways, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.